morning, everyone. Today we are going to be prepping breakfast because what starts next week?
School.
We're going back to school. And so we have a bit of a different routine this year. Whereas last year the kids walked themselves to school, this year we're dropping them off and picking them up because we moved and we're in a new district and it's the school's much further away from our home. So we've got probably a busier morning routine than we're used to. So we thought that a way to help mitigate the stress of the morning is to do weekly meal preps. I just found, I've been talking to the kids about different breakfast options. Of course, their go-to was cereal. However, I'm trying to get more protein into our lives, right? No?
No, I want protein, but yes.
Yes, we're trying to get more protein into our lives. Healthier breakfasts, start the day off stronger. Janiyah does not like to eat breakfast. Why not?
Because I don't get hungry in the
You
mornings.
have to talk loud. It's not going to hear you.
Because I don't get hungry in the mornings.
Yeah, so she's not a morning eater. So I wanted something for her that was going to be easy and not too big. So I have a couple of different ideas for breakfast for her. And then Juan is trying to put on weight for sports. And he's like, well, I'll just eat cereal. And I'm like, well, that's not going to help you in the healthy way to put on the weight that you want. We want to put on muscle. So again, protein. And so he is not a fan all of a sudden for some reason of eggs or like egg casseroles. So that makes it a little challenging. And then Joe is a big breakfast guy. And so he loves eggs and burritos and that kind of stuff. So we're going to do a couple of things for him because he is the one in the morning who's going to be taking the kids to school. I'll be leaving before everyone else. So I just want to do my part in the morning chaos time and at least give everybody different options of what they can eat on different days. So I kind of want to have like 3 good options since there's 3 of them. And not necessarily that each person has to have just one item, but there's options that maybe one day Juan will wake up and want to eat some eggs out of the blue. Especially after that first week of school, I think they'll realize how long their day is since coming off a summer break and you could just eat whenever you want. That maybe they'll see it's important to eat breakfast because lunch isn't, your next time to eat is at 11:30, I think your lunch is. So it's gonna be a long day. 11:30 and then they don't eat again until after school. Like they don't have a break. Maybe they can get like a little snack item going. I'm considering making little energy balls that they can, save as like a later afternoon quick snack that they can just pop in their mouth. But for the most part though, my recipes are coming from, I follow her on YouTube and her name is Julia Pacheco. And she's a stay-at-home mom and she kind of does recipes on a budget. Her YouTube channel, I believe, is just her name. But she has some really good recipes. I actually bought her cookbook because it was really useful. She does like the extreme budgeting as well if you're interested in checking out her channel on YouTube. But a lot of her recipes are just easy, inexpensive, and she does bulk. And so I thought meal prepping for a week, bulk wise, this would be a good starting place. I might tweak it a little bit here and there. But for the most part, that's where we're at. So how do you feel about going back to school?
Nervous.
Nervous. It's weird. I don't recall my own middle school, like first day back or first week back, but I always was I have high anxiety. And so I know that the transition between being off all summer, going back into school, even though I love school, like I'm definitely a nerd, and I'm a teacher, and so I love being in school. But I remember the transition time being very anxious for me. So I understand being nervous and scared is overwhelming, especially since you're leaving elementary and going to middle school. So it's a big change for you, big school year. But I just remember even in high school, anytime summer was over and I had to go back to school, or even like winter break, I remember being extremely anxious and nervous. And so it's normal. But sometimes being prepared, like having your breakfast ready, having all your clothes ready, having all your supplies ready to go helps with that transition, so it's not as overwhelming. So that's what our goal is today, is to get some good, healthy breakfast going so that we can be ready for a school year. You ready?
Yeah.
Cheers. Ching. Cheers. So here we go. All right.
So the first thing we decided to make was the blueberry oatmeal creation. I wanted it to be a loaf, but I added too much liquid to it, and so it kind of just stayed as like a overnight oats. That's why I have it like baking pan. And so the consistency was just a little too much like an overnight oats. And so when I'm finished with it, you'll see I kind of just put it in a container, so that individual containers where anyone could just like throw it in the microwave or throw it in a bowl and then a microwave. Maybe adds a little bit of maple syrup on it in something. So it's just 2 cups of oats, baking powder, milk, maple syrup. That maple syrup was not going into my coffee. I'm not elf. And I think we also we did cinnamon, butter, and I think, and blueberries, of course. But that's how we made that. A big thing with doing this with Janiyah is because she really has been nervous about going to middle school. She is an outgoing, brave, energetic person. But this past week, she's going to a new school. She doesn't know anybody there besides her brother. And so I think that she's just a little bit insecure about what to expect. Big transition for her. But I did want to move them to a school that was a little bit more challenging academically. And so I thought moving her middle school year would be easier for her to transition. One is very excited about the move, but Janiyah, she's just a little nervous. This past month, we've just noticed that she kind of became more withdrawn, nervous about little things, needing a lot more cuddles this past month. And so that's just not like her. She really is like an independent person and brave. And so I've been trying to find activities that she and I can do together, planning things that kind of puts her as the focus. We've been watching a lot of K-pop Demon Hunters and spending time with her that way. Music is a big thing for her. Encouraging her art and crafts is a big thing. And so that has been what we've been doing to try to transition her into being a middle schooler. next thing we're making is a egg casserole. So it was just about, 10 eggs, cheese, onions, bacon, and heavy whipping cream all mixed together and turned into a delicious, yummy casserole. I wound up turning this into burritos so that they could just be heated up in the microwave in the morning and out to go. So I wrapped them in wax paper, then aluminum foil, threw them in the freezer when we were done. I thought that'll be easy. We're watching K-pop Demon Hunters while we're doing this, so that's why we keep having dance breaks and stuff, because it really is a good show, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend you do, because it was good. Don't forget to season your food. I always say stop when the ancestors tell you to stop. But other than that, it comes out really easy casserole meal to make. Or not a meal, but, a breakfast. I guess it is a meal. High protein and easy. And the last thing we're making are some blueberry muffins. I use pancake mix, but I just added dance break. I added eggs, heavy whipping cream, butter, blueberries, and some vanilla to taste to make this. Oh, there's my favorite song, I guess, on K-Pop Idol. It's, that was Soda Pop. That was the ending move to Soda Pop. I'm a professional dancer. But yeah, this was a blueberry muffins. Juan loves blueberry muffins. Janiyah loves blueberry muffins. So I thought this was an easy go-to recipe that I could make for them. It just took... I used the cinnamon honey butter that Country Crock makes. Yum. It came out so moist and delicious. We made 14 of them, and I was able to freeze 12 of them because Janiyah and I just had to have them because, oh my gosh, they were so good. I did have to add water to this because it was coming out really thick. But once I got to the right consistency, it was fine. You got to use vanilla. I love vanilla. But this was the muffins, I think, is going to be the biggest hit for breakfast next week for the kiddos. So I suspect they'll probably get like 2 of those for the first couple of days and then go to the oatmeal. And I bet you Juan will grab the eggs eventually. So I hope that you can see this is only took us total in preparing it about 45 minutes. And then adding on maybe another 20 minutes with cooking, with the actual cooking time, 20 to 30 minutes for most of these items. And I think that's because I kept opening the oven and interrupting the heat. But to add things and take things out. But overall, this was 45 minutes of actual stirring and mixing things together and getting things in their pans and into the oven. And then probably another 20 minutes to get things to cool down. So this is something that I thought, Janiyah and I could easily knock out in an hour this morning before we headed to the mall to do some shopping on the hunt for some K-pop Demon Hunter merch. So this was an easy way to get ready for back to school meal prep. Comment down below your favorite easy meal prep idea. Thanks for joining.
So Janiyah and I spent the morning making breakfast for next week. So we wound up with about, 12 egg, bacon, cheese burritos. We have 5 ready to go blueberry oatmeal mix. And then we have 14 blueberry protein muffins. So that should hopefully get the kids lots of options, lots of protein as they start their first week.